So this is a little different of a format than what we usually do. Usually we're a little bit more together, I'll say. But for right now, we just watched the final episode of Attack on Titan, the special second part. To say we're in shambles is an understatement for one of us. Me, not so much. I'm barely holding it together. How we doing?
I did not hold it together. I don't even know what to say. Oh my gosh. That was. Ugh.
It was so much at once. I don't even know where to start, to be honest. Okay, so I'll just talk about like the actual physical pieces of the show. The animation, of course, was on point, right? That was unmatched. I don't have anything to say about that. Nonetheless, the voice acting, of course, amazing. Every line delivered with such power. The story, I'll let I'll let you talk a little bit about the mechanics before we go to story.
I'll just say that my watch had to alert me 5 times for that hour and a half that my heart rate was over 120 beats per minute while I was sitting. And it was like, do you need to go to the hospital? Oh my gosh, that was, I mean, as a manga reader, you go into this kind of knowing what's going to happen, but I could only really remember the big parts, and just to see it all come together and the way they did it with the music and the voice acting was just, I don't know if I could ask for it to be any better than that, honestly.
Yeah, mechanically, that was just an amazing episode. The story, if you haven't seen the episode yet, this is where the spoilers will come in. So, incoming spoilers, three, two, one. Oh my God. The story, oh my God. The ending to Attack on Titan. Eren needed to die. If you disagree with that, I don't see another way that this story could have ended. It's so sad to see I guess, and the anti-hero unfortunately, come to his own fruition. But at that point, there was no other way the world could have been saved. Uh, you agree somewhat, yeah?
I totally agree. I have like a few things here and there. There's a few plot points in the end that I think were not quite perfectly finished, but as far as, Aaron dying at the end, I felt like there was no other way to end it that way. And as big of a Aramika shipper that I am, someone who just absolutely adores those two, I think I became a bigger shipper of those two after I read the manga, and because I realized just how much love there was for each other, even if Aaron was stupid and a baka. But he he still needed to die, and I think the story really did a good job of leading up to that and kind of explaining why he was acting the way that he was, and everything really came to fruition here. So I mean, it was, I think that this ending was, I would say, for a 9 out of 10 story, 8.5 out of 10 ending, just because there were some little things here and there that I wish got a little bit more fleshed out, which
Yeah.
I think gives it about like a 8.9 show, which is pretty damn good.
Yeah, no, this is definitely landing at like a solid 9 and 9.5 for me. There is one thing that I wish they would have animated from the manga,
Yeah.
and it was so if you've seen it, you see the very ending where the tree is planted, and then there's a traveler in the forest who then walks up to the tree. And they walk into the tree, and it looks to be Ymir's tree where the past live. So it kind of shows the demonstration of the cycle of life. However, in the manga, there was an additional couple pages that showed Eren, Mikasa, and Armin in a different timeline walking out of a movie theater saying, wow, what an interesting movie. And of course, Eren makes the comment, yeah, that protagonist was kind of weird, or something along those lines. And it was just so funny to see kind of the meta commentary on the show itself. I'm. You're looking at me like this
I
never
don't
happened.
remember this.
You don't
You're
remember
making
this?
this up. The only thing. It exists. I don't know if that's canon. The only thing I can think of that they didn't animate that I know is canon is the confirmation that Jean and Mikasa ended up together.
What?
Yeah, that was canon. There was, and it happened. there was like an extra chapter released, and I think that one is what it was like considered 139.5. And in that chapter is when we see that character that's in like present day essentially approach the tree. And it's kind of up to, viewers' imagination. Does that mean that Titans are going to start again? Does that mean something else? Is this person just going to learn about it? Who knows? Probably the Titans are going to come back is what I would assume that means.
Titans.
But there was another part before that showed John and Mikasa together. And it is like confirmed canon that they ended up together. So I'm surprised they didn't animate that. I think that a lot. I wonder if they just took it out, because I think that was very, very the most controversial part of the end was that he put them together, because a lot of people didn't like that. A lot of people preferred Mikasa to stay single because she like always only had eyes for Eren. I kind of disagree with that. I think that I liked that she was able to eventually, even if it took a while, and even though I wasn't ever the biggest stan of, I can't even think of their shipper name, like that's how much I don't really care about it, it still like brought me joy to think that she found happiness eventually and was able to, move on to another man when, the first love that she had caused so much trauma.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair, even if, that ending would have come through in the anime, that she just stays single waiting for Eren. Also, Eren being like, I want her to pine for me for at least 10 years. Like, it just shows kind of who Eren is as a character. And even though he had such this hard shell on the outside, starting the rumbling and doing all of these different things that were so negative, it showed like really on the inside he had a soft core. He just never knew how to break out of it or how to stop all of these things from happening. So it's a very interesting story, of course. Some of my favorite moments from the episode, God, there is like, it's so good, and these are all so raw because we're literally 2 minutes after the episode ended. So my favorite moment had to be when John and Reiner were hanging from the top of the Attack Titan, and he's like, we're scouts, we don't know when to quit. And I was like, I started tearing up. I teared up at a couple other moments, but that one hit me the hardest. And I was like, oh my God. The OST was amazing, of course. We had so many reprisals of the Ishtash Mama. I know those aren't the words, but like, leave me alone, okay?
It is German, so I don't know it either. Favorite moments for me, I pretty much cried through the entire thing. Brian kept on looking over at me, checking on me, because I was struggling the whole time, which I knew was going to happen. This is not only just like a very like sad story, this is a sad ending, first of all, the protagonist dies. He was the antagonist of the 4th season, but also it very much explains that like things never really perfectly got back to normal. Like there was still a lot of conflict. So, it's a story of war, and it's really still a sad ending. But that being said, as hard as it is, I think my favorite moment is the aftermath, especially when Levi sees all of his comrades, because, and I think I've mentioned this before, Levi is the last of that generation, and he survived, even though, did he really want to? I don't know, but giving them that salute as they disappear, and then Connie and John seeing Sasha, and then the little comedic moment of Gabby and Falco hugging and them like literally falling over in the background was so cute, and I was like, I needed that. They're so pure. I love them. But just that whole moment there, Brian can attest to this, like, I think that was about the way I cried with Demon Slayer's season finale. Yeah, honestly, the crying, I expected it, and that's why we watched this together. We didn't watch always watch with a buddy if you can, or if you don't have a buddy, grab a Squishmallow like I do sometimes. So I think honestly, overall, looking at the aftermath, I loved seeing like the Jaegerist regime. It definitely gave me some World War II vibes of like Nazis coming through, and yeah, some of the final moments when all the Titan shifters are on the boat with Connie and John.
I think that was really cool, watching them trying to attempt to change the future. That's kind of all I got as raw reactions. Of course, we're going to do a full episode on this and flesh this out once we have our third partner back with us, who had to leave for the evening for a very special event. But do you have any final thoughts on the episode?
Just that the action sequences for the Battle of Heaven and Earth went really hard. Great job, MAPPA. Great job to all those animators that have been working so hard at so many amazing animes that have been out right now. And one more thing, I just really enjoyed the fact that it seemed as if Levi was living in Marley and seemingly like kind of looking out for Gabby and Falco, even though like they still have their family, like they all survived, but obviously Falco lost his brother and all this, earlier on, but like he was kind of nearby and just like hanging out with kids, like giving out lollipops like the clown did when his first time visiting Marley. So really enjoyed that. Also thought it was interesting, and I don't know if I missed this or just forgot, but with the Jaegerists, Hitch was there. I think there were a couple other familiar faces still fighting them, but then you also had like the Browse family and Niccolo on Parody Island, but clearly not agreeing with the military stance there. So interesting. Yeah, I think that's all I got. So for now.
One last thing I'll add in is I definitely loved the way that Armin came through in the end. I think while he was figuring things out in the past, was really well animated and embellished. I love the way that things played out for him, and I think this was a very pivotal moment for his character development as a final set for it. I don't want to say too much more because I could honestly ramble about this for another hour.
I'm going to say one more thing. I feel like Armin was kind of the protagonist of this episode. I feel like we kind of saw everything from his perspective, and I really liked that growth. I also, and this will be my last thing, I loved that he's the one who took on the statement of saying, I killed Eren Yeager. And again, I don't know if that's something I just missed in the manga or I didn't quite understand, but like essentially he did that so that Mikasa could live still on Parody Island where she buried him, without dealing with people thinking that she's the one who killed him, but it's Armin who did it. So even though she is the one who killed him. So I thought that was just such a beautiful thing to do as a friend as well. But I will stop there because I will go on and on and on about the fact that I can openly say that Eren Yeager is dead. What?
Yeah. It's crazy coming into the fandom a lot later. I think I can speak for you as well in this one. We haven't watched since the beginning like our third has, so this is something that we've been new for, but those who have watched from the beginning have highly anticipated this moment, and what a banger to close it out. So I think that's all we've got for right now. Look out for the episode coming soon, but these are just our raw reactions. Until next time, we got to tell you, Tatakae.
Tatakae.